My name is Tara Ford, and I'm 30 years old. I live with my husband Kane, who's 5 years older than me, and our 5-year-old son. Today, I'm attending a wedding with my husband. While the bride and groom are acquaintances, it's really more my husband who knows them. I only know them by sight. The wedding is being held at a luxury hotel, and although I know it's improper, I can't help wondering how much it all costs. My husband said he was going to greet some people he knows at the venue, so I excused myself to the ladies' room. As I was leaving the restroom to return to the ceremony, I heard some unpleasant voices. Oh. Look who's here, that defective piece of goods. Why is she in a place like this? What do you mean, Mom? Oh my goodness, you're right. Why? We didn't invite her. I feel like I'm being insulted. And they're not even trying to whisper, these aren't just snide remarks anymore, they're outright insults. However, they haven't directly addressed me. I don't want to get involved with people who would say such nasty things, so I try to hurry away. Wait right there, you ugly thing. I know you can hear me. I think I heard someone call out to me, but I ignore it. My name isn't you ugly thing. As I walk briskly down the hallway, I hear footsteps following me, which startles me. You've got to be kidding, they should have given up when I ignored them. Why would they embarrass themselves like this? While I'm thinking this, someone suddenly grabs my arm. Apparently, they had sprinted to catch up with me. Their nails dig painfully into my arm. I told you to wait, shouts the woman gripping my arm, out of breath. I look her up and down before shaking off her arm. When I do, she stumbles dramatically with an exaggerated cry. What a pointless act at this point. Elle, are you all right? How violent she is. I suppose this is what happens when someone with such a low intellect is raised, says another woman who had been chasing after us, supporting the first woman. Then she glares at me. Excuse me, but what's this about? Who are you? What? Who am I? Are you saying you've forgotten me? Well, all I can say is that you seem like quite a self-absorbed and rude person. Have we met somewhere before? When I say this, she raises her perfectly shaped eyebrows. What's your problem? How dare you take that attitude with me? If you say you've forgotten, I'll remind you, I'm your sister Elle. Remember now? Surely even your disappointing brain can recall that. And this is our mother. Don't tell me you've forgotten your own parent too? Well, I suppose someone by that name might have been close to me once upon a time. I tilt my head. These people aren't worth engaging with seriously. My response seems to anger them both further. Just then, 2 men come running up. Hey, what's all the commotion? We could hear the shouting from over there. Elle, are you finished with preparations? Oh wait, you're still in your regular clothes. You need to change quickly. Dad, Ron. This person. There's an intruder who's crashed our wedding. Please, throw her out right now. Elle, as she calls herself, points at me while shouting. Didn't anyone teach her it's rude to point at people? The 2 men's reactions upon seeing me were complete opposites. The man called Dad widened his eyes, then scowled with obvious displeasure. The man called Ron froze with a shocked expression, the color draining from his face. Why is she here? I never thought I'd have to see her face on such a happy day. Right? She must have snuck in here by mistake. This is awful. Please, call security right away. Hey. What are you saying? Watch your mouth. This person is dash, Ron shouts with a pale face. Seeing this, I mutter quietly, so you really don't know anything, do you? No one notices my muttered words. Tara. So this is where you were. I was looking for you, says a new arrival, my husband Kane. Everyone's attention turns to him at once. Kane looks slightly taken aback. Sorry, I meant to come right back, but I got caught up with some strange people, I say with a wry smile as I move closer to him. Kane blinks and looks around at everyone present. Then he mutters, "Ah." It seems he's quickly grasped the situation. That's my Kane. Elle, who had been staring at Kane in admiration when he suddenly appeared, quickly switches back to glaring at me when I stand beside him. The two called father and mother still wear confused expressions, as if they haven't fully processed the situation. Ron, meanwhile, is clearly flustered. He's also the first to speak up. Dr. Ford. I'm so sorry. It seems my wife has been very rude. And, my deepest apologies to your wife as well. Hey. Elle, you apologize too. What? Why should I apologize? She's the one who should be apologizing. This shameless person who snuck into our important wedding. I don't know how she found out about it, but this woman is our family's shame. We threw her out of the house long ago, and we were supposed to never see her face again. What? Family, you say? He seems surprised by this word and looks back and forth between Elle and me. The man and woman called father and mother quickly jump in to explain. Oh, I'm sorry, Ron. You see, we have a good-for-nothing eldest daughter. She's such an embarrassment we couldn't even bring ourselves to mention her. Well, we threw her out of the house 9 years ago. Really, I wonder how she found out about Elle's wedding. Showing up here like this, what could she be planning? She's not trying to ruin Elle's wedding, is she? That's right. She was a foolish daughter who couldn't even get into college, just a useless defect. She wasted her time with part-time jobs after graduation and lazed around the house being nothing but a nuisance. She was quite the parasite. We should be thanked for taking care of her through high school. The insults keep coming. However, I had long since given up on this family and had learned to gracefully ignore all manner of verbal abuse. Yes, technically, these people are my family. That's what the family register says. However, my parents doted on my sister, who is 6 years younger than me, and I was completely neglected from the time I could remember. My father's family had been doctors for generations and ran a medical clinic. My mother worked there as a nurse. On the surface, we probably looked like a family that wanted for nothing. But in reality, it was a family poisoned by toxicity. When I was a child, I think there were times when I tried hard to be loved by my parents, but after hearing their incomprehensible reason that his sister is cute, and you're not, for always prioritizing my sister, I stopped expecting anything from my family. Fortunately, if I do say so myself, I was smart and liked studying. So I focused on studying hard to get out of the house as soon as possible. By that time, I think I was already playing the role of the failed older sister to my family. Listen here. We won't allow you to go to college. You're just a defective good-for-nothing anyway. There's no way you could get into college. You'll start working right after high school. And you'll give us money. You need to properly repay us for raising someone as unlovely as you. That's right. You've always lacked gratitude. College expenses? We might consider it for L, but we won't spend another penny on you. You'll spend your life serving this household. Well, I doubt you could get a decent job anyway. My parents told me this in my 3rd year of high school. By the way, I recorded that conversation and have kept it until today. By the time I was in high school, I was recording almost every abusive word and unreasonable treatment from my family. L, my sister, completely looked down on me due to our parents' unchanging attitude, and constantly tried to assert her superiority. I'm going to become a doctor and take over Dad's practice. I'll work hard for big sister's share too. Oh, how wonderful of you to say that. Yes, use her as an example of what not to be. Don't worry, Elle, you can do it. That's right. We'll support you all the way. Unlike your sister, Elle, you're truly our pride and joy. They would have these exchanges right in front of me, deliberately showing off. Yes, it was all just a charade. After graduating high school, I worked various part-time jobs as a freelancer for about 3 years. I did live at home during this time. Despite finding my presence annoying, they wouldn't let me leave the house on my own, probably because they wanted to keep me around to use as they pleased. But actually, I had secretly rented an apartment. They would say things like, "We won't forgive you if you do this," or "We won't forgive you if you don't do that," but I realized that once I became an adult, I didn't need my family's forgiveness for anything. Of course, there were complicated matters like finding a guarantor and such. By the way, since I underreported my part-time income, I was able to keep the money they demanded I give to the household to a minimum. Additionally, I started investing and gradually increased my savings. Then, when my sister was preparing for her high school entrance exams, I was kicked out of the house for the convenient reason that she said, "I can't concentrate on studying with you around." My parents apparently intended to have forgiven me and let me return home once things cooled down, but I took the opportunity to leave for good. They must have been surprised that I, who they thought couldn't do anything on my own, didn't come back. But they must have quickly stopped caring. After all, my parents only needed my sister. It's been 9 years since then, huh? While I'm lost in my thoughts, the argument between my sister and Ron, the man, is heating up. Oh right, today is their wedding. So these two are getting married. The invitation might have had my sister's name on it, but I didn't pay attention, thinking it was just someone with the same name. That's how irrelevant this family had become to me. I'm telling you. Why are you defending that woman? I've been saying she's an intruder all along. Her presence here is making the air foul. Throw her out. And I've been telling you. I invited them to this wedding. You checked the invitation list with me, didn't you? They've already checked in at reception. They're proper guests. Anyway, apologize for being so rude earlier. The two argue back and forth. Is it really okay for them to be fighting like this before the wedding ceremony? While I'm thinking this, my father suddenly catches my eye and has a moment of realization. Could he be the son of Ford General Hospital? What? Ford General Hospital, that huge hospital. You mean the director's son? At these words, my mother's eyes widen. Huh? Hospital director's son? Their attention, my parents, my sisters, and her husband's, all focuses on us at once. Kane gives a slight bow. How do you do? I'm Kane Ford. This is my wife, Tara. Hello, I also bow slightly and smile sweetly. Indeed, Kane's parents are both excellent doctors who run a long-established large hospital. Kane is their heir. He himself is a promising doctor who never stops improving his skills. My parents gape and open and close their mouths like fish as they watch me smile with perfect elegance. My sister's husband quickly jumps in. Oh. What a coincidence that Dr. Ford's wife is my wife's sister. This makes us family. Dr. Allen, thank you for seeing our son the other day. I cut off his words. This man, Alan Ron, who is becoming my sister's husband, is also a doctor. He works at a university hospital and recently examined our son who hasn't been feeling well lately. That's the extent of our relationship. Although it seems Kane has had various professional interactions with him before. Apparently, Alan admires Kane. How is your son doing? Based on my examination, he needs immediate treatment. Please, come to our hospital for initial testing and dash. Well, we decided to get another opinion afterward. You know how important second opinions are, right? As I continue with a sweet smile, he freezes completely. It seems Alan sees my son as a VIP patient. That's why he's so desperate to treat him at his hospital. However, it's not pleasant to have a patient, especially my own son, viewed as a cash cow. I reject him with a smile. Then, there's a derisive snort. What's this? Are you trying to get back at us? Just because you're a high school graduate, you think you're something special for catching a doctor husband? How stupid can you be? Just because you married the heir to a big hospital doesn't make you any more important. Your education level hasn't changed, your thinking is so shallow. And you even have a son? How pitiful for a child to have such a defective person as a mother. Hey, Al. That's enough. This whole time. They're blood relatives, aren't they? Why do you keep saying such things? Alan hurriedly tries to stop her. However, Elle glares at him. She absolutely believes everything she says is right. Suddenly, Kane turns to me and asks, Tara, are these people really your family? No, they're not family at all. After all, family doesn't suddenly yell at you for unreasonable things, or withhold food for a day just for spilling a little on the table, or give me hand-me-downs from who knows where while giving my sister brand-name dresses and laughing at the comparison, or throw away my study materials saying, you're stupid anyway, so you don't need these. They don't ruin textbooks by soaking them in water, right? So these people aren't family anymore. You're right. Family doesn't throw you outside barefoot in winter for not lending a book to your sister, or lock you in a storage shed in summer calling it discipline. They don't sell your belongings without permission or say to your face that they'll work you like a slave for life. Even the neighbors noticed something was wrong with how the clinic treated the sisters differently, suspecting abuse, and stopped bringing their children to a clinic where parents would treat their child that way. I'm surprised nobody reported them for child abuse back then. Now their business is suffering because of it, but they haven't even realized why. It's really something else. During our matter-of-fact exchange revealing the awful treatment I received in the past, Alan is staring wide-eyed. And my parents are surprised too, surprised that their daughter who left home long ago knew about their clinic's declining business. By the way, this information came from my in-laws' investigation. My in-laws are very sympathetic about the treatment I received and get even angrier about it than I do. They're kind people. And Kane is the same way. They had been investigating my parents' clinic thinking it might be useful someday, for revenge, perhaps. Hey! Stop telling lies. We never did any of that. It's your fault for being a failure. Ron. Don't believe what this woman says. My sister shouts defiantly, but I think it's too late. Alan was looking at her with disgust. If only she hadn't chased after me when I tried to ignore her and leave, this wouldn't have happened. No, you're the one who's been lying all along. What do you mean? You said Dr. Ford's wife only graduated high school. She's a college graduate who started a company and is its president. A medical food-related company that even our hospital relies on. What? President? My sister looks at me like she's seeing something unbelievable. My parents wear the same expression. Don't you dare lie. You only graduated high school. What's this about college? Are you saying you went to college without telling us? Yes, I did. After all, I was an adult, and I had no reason to report anything to people who weren't really family anymore, right? How dare you speak to your parents that way? We told you we wouldn't allow you to go to college. And why exactly did I need your permission? When I respond with exasperation, my parents grind their teeth. During my time as a part-time worker after high school graduation, I had saved up a considerable amount of money. I used part of it for college expenses. There were still things I wanted to learn and things I wanted to do. Once I left home, I was completely free and could do anything. I met my current husband during college while I was starting my company. Thinking back on it makes me nostalgic again. Meanwhile, my sister was muttering something with a pale face. It's a lie. Because this one was a defective failure, a useless older sister who couldn't do anything on her own. I thought she must have died in a gutter somewhere after being thrown out of the house. But instead, she even went to college and now she's a company president? And she caught the heir to a big hospital. Why? I was supposed to be the one who would definitely be happier. Why? Why are you more successful than me? Why do you look so happy? I wonder why. Maybe because I kept working hard without becoming bitter, even while receiving unreasonable treatment from my family? Well, I guess I was pretty lucky too. I said this while looking back at my sister. Then I dropped a bombshell. By the way, I heard you actually dropped out of middle school, is that true? With those words, the atmosphere froze completely. The former family members and Alan all went rigid. What? What are you suddenly talking about? Who dropped out of middle school? My sister's nerve to talk back is impressive, even now. Actually, I heard from our kind aunt who's always been good to me. After I left home, you got complacent, thinking you could easily get into any prestigious school, and didn't study at all. Then you showed up on exam day and turned in almost blank papers. Of course, you failed. Then you threw tantrums at home and became a shut-in. You only started going out recently. That was after our parents introduced you to Dr. Allen as a suitable marriage partner, and only then did you finally break out of being a shut-in. As I speak, Alan's face grows increasingly stern. In contrast, my parents and sister lose more and more color. The aunt who told me this is a distant relative on my father's side. She's a gossip who somehow always knows everything and tells me about it. Though we'd only met 2 or 3 times when I was little, she always looked out for me and even became my guarantor. You. Stop spreading lies. My sister tries to object with a trembling voice, but I ignore her and continue. Also, you're supposedly working as a medical office clerk at the family clinic, but that's a lie too, isn't it? You don't actually have any qualifications and are just working as an odd jobs helper, right? They can't assign specialized work to someone without qualifications. I'm glad to see they retained at least that much ethical sense. Stop it. Those are all lies. Everything you're saying is a lie. Is that so? Well, I'm just telling you what I've heard. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. When I say this, my sister whirls around to face Alan. His expression is filled with suspicion, confusion, and disgust. Elle, you told me and our parents that you graduated from a famous women's university, then got your qualifications and were helping at the family clinic, right? Was it all lies? Academic fraud? This is fraud. You deceived me. That's not true, Ron. Don't believe what this woman says. Ron, you're my husband, right? Believe me. Then tell me the name of just one professor from the university you attended. When Alan presses her like this, my sister freezes. That's not relevant now. Oh no. Then I'll call one of the professors from the department you claim to attend right now. They're acquaintances of my parents. They know me, their son, and we socialize as families. I'll ask if there was ever a student named Elle. Alan says this while reaching for his smartphone. Stop it. There's no need for that. If you would just believe me, that should be enough. My sister lunges for Alan's phone, snatches it, and slams it to the floor. Don't try to verify anything. Just believe me. Then she grinds the phone further with her heel. Her expression is demonic. Alan is clearly put off, and my stunned parents hurriedly try to stop my sister. Other wedding guests and venue staff gather, drawn by the commotion. It's turned into quite a scene. The fact that it feels like someone else's problem must be because I no longer feel any family connection to them. My family is just my husband and son. Well, shall we go home? We've given the wedding gift. We've fulfilled our social obligation, right? Are you sure you're done? Tara. My husband implicitly asks if I've said everything I wanted to say, if I'm done with my revenge. I answer with a bright smile. I don't care anymore. Let's go home. Oh, let's stop by the cake shop in this hotel on our way out. I want to try their super luxury cake. Sure. Let's go. Let's buy some cake to take home. Laughing together, we leave the wedding venue. Sometime later, I heard that Alan was sued for exaggerating diagnoses to patients and charging excessive medical fees. Then my parents came seeking my help. Though of course, they didn't have my contact information. I heard they showed up at my husband's hospital, making a scene demanding to see me and my husband. Listen here. You, the wife of this hospital's heir. She's our daughter. Let us see her right now. You can contact the heir through this hospital, can't you? We're in trouble here. She's family, so she has to help us. We're just asking her to repay us for raising her. That's right. I never thought she'd be useful, but I guess it was worth raising her. Who would have thought she'd catch an even better husband than Elle? We're this son's in-laws. Of course he should help us. They were apparently making this kind of scene at reception. However, the ones who came out to meet them weren't me or my husband, but my in-laws. My in-laws apparently silenced my parents with one glare and said, "What do you want with our daughter?" My parents literally froze like frogs before a snake and scurried away. They persisted in trying to make contact after that, but eventually their negligence caught up with them and their clinic closed down quickly. When I heard about it, I felt nothing. After that, I heard my sister and her husband divorced. Actually, I'm surprised their marriage lasted even a few months. Perhaps Alan getting sued and fired from the hospital was the final straw. My sister started making misguided efforts to ensure she would definitely be happier than me. First, she got involved with a married doctor more than 20 years her senior, trying to catch a better husband than mine. However, the affair was quickly discovered, and there was a scandal when the doctor's wife demanded compensation. My sister apparently turned to our parents for help, but they turned on her and disowned her as a family disgrace. I don't know what happened to my sister after that. I heard various things, that she started working at nightclubs and her body was breaking down, that she became homeless, but I had no interest anymore. My parents are apparently looking for places to work as a doctor and nurse, but no hospital will hire a couple their age, approaching retirement. Well, those are just rumors about my parents. It's because rumors about how they treated me had spread throughout the medical community. I don't have time to waste thinking about people who aren't even family anymore. After getting a second opinion at another hospital, my son's health problems were resolved with medication, without needing hospitalization. I protect my family. I always will.